Hey guys, and welcome back to the official Sourcing with Kian YouTube channel. So you're an Amazon seller, you're into e-commerce, or you manufacture products in China, or all of the above, and Chinese New Year is upon us, and you want to know the top 5 things to do to best prepare for Chinese New Year. Well, this is the video for you. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Kian Gozari and I've been living and working in China for the past 10 years, and in that time I've manufactured over 2,500 products, visited more than 500 factories and attended more than 20 Canton fairs. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so you can stay up to date on the latest of what's going on in China and see more videos like this. Hey guys, so just to give you a quick background on Chinese New Year before we jump into the tips. It's probably the most fun time of the year if you are Chinese, because this is your holiday, but if you're into manufacturing and production, it's probably the most challenging time of the year and definitely not the most fun part, because you have to help navigate through that process, which is what I'm here to do. But basically Chinese New Year is the biggest people migration in the world. There's over 100 million people traveling during that Chinese New Year period. The Chinese New Year follows the lunar calendar, so the Chinese New Year date does not fall on the same day every single year. This year it will be, or 2021, it will be February 12th. Last year it was January 25th, if I'm not mistaken. So it changes every single year. As I said, it follows a lunar calendar. This upcoming Chinese New Year will be the year of the ox. So there are 12 animals in total. So if you actually, out of interest, want to find out what year best resembles you, just Google Chinese New Year and then put in your year of birth, and it will tell you what animal you are associated to. So I'm actually the year of the rabbit, and when I Googled it, like, each animal's got its own story as well, and it said that rabbits are highly intelligent, guilty, social and affectionate, but hard to coexist with. I don't know if that's true, but that's just what Google told me anyway. But if you want to know, or if actually you want to let us know in the comments below what animal you are, and if whatever Google tells you, if it resonates and if it's true, let us know in the comments below and we can all discuss what type of animals we are. So with that being said, this is going to be the year of the ox. Now let's dive into the top 5 things we need to do to crush it in the year of the ox. Okay guys, so tip number 1 is check the capacity of your factory around Chinese New Year. You want to be asking your factory, when is your office closed during Chinese New Year, and when is your factory closed during Chinese New Year? Now this is a very, very big distinction to make, because office workers, their holiday is a lot shorter than the factory workers. Because factory workers, imagine, right, okay, a factory might have 200 employees, might have 500 employees, or might have 1,000 employees. Now those employees are not typically from that area. Like I said before, like, Chinese New Year is the biggest people migration in the world. So people travel from whatever parts of China they're from to the factories for work. So in their Chinese New Year period, they're going back to their hometown for, let's say, 3 weeks or 1 month. So no production is happening in that 1 month. But the office workers are most likely from that town or from that city. So they're only going to take maybe 10 days off, and they're also likely to check their emails and WeChat and stuff like that during the holiday period. So it's very important to know when is your office closed and when is your factory closed. Then once you know the dates that the office and factory are open, you also want to know what is your production schedule around Chinese New Year. What is the last date which I can place an order to still get shipment before Chinese New Year? Now, we've established the date of Chinese New Year in 2021, but that's not when the factory closes. The factory will actually close some days or some weeks before that as well, and every factory is different. So you definitely want to check in to say, like, what's the last date I can order? And depending on what product category you're in, those dates are going to be different, because your lead times might be 30 days or your lead time might be 60 days. But one word of advice I would say, based on my experience of doing business in China, if a factory tells you it's going to be 30 days or 45 days or 60 days before Chinese New Year for you to get your production finished, you probably want to add about 10-15% extra onto that, because there's always things that you can't anticipate for, and it's the busiest time of the year. So just make sure you have your dates of knowing when the office is closed, when the factory is closed, and what's the last date that you can confirm an order to get shipment before Chinese New Year, and then add a little bit of margin on top of that for yourself as well. So guys, tip number 2 is avoid this time to manufacture if possible. Now I just say that because you know, as I said, the workers are migrating, so they're in a rush to finish these goods, to finish this production so they can go home, because the quicker they finish the production, the quicker they can go on holiday. Now again, in my time of, you know, manufacturing in China, whenever I've had any sort of QC problems or quality control problems or manufacturing, whatever, issues, it's always been at the time of just before Chinese New Year, because everyone's in a rush to get home. Now that's not to say you can't get good production done before this time, but if there's a higher probability that you would get bad stock or bad production during this time. Now there are things we can do to get around that. Inspections are super important at this stage. Now you should all be doing pre-shipment inspections anyway, but I would highly advise doing pre-shipment inspections for 100% of your goods, 100% of your orders going out before Chinese New Year. And if you need any help getting in touch with a good inspection company, just drop me an email, which I'll put my email address in the description below, and I'll connect you with some of the inspection companies that I'm working with. But just put inspection in the subject title so I know how to direct your email. The other thing is capacity issues as well before Chinese New Year, so therefore prices can go up as well, because imagine suppliers getting all these orders coming in, and they can pick and choose maybe just a select few that they want to manufacture. So they might be too busy to manufacture your one, or they don't have the capacity, therefore they might put their prices up. So if this is your first time ordering from China, or you don't normally place orders around this time, you might be paying a slightly higher price than if you were to just place that order after Chinese New Year. Now that kind of depends if your product is seasonal. If you have to produce the goods at this time, then go ahead. But like I said, you might have some quality issues and you might have some higher prices. So it's best to avoid this time if possible. But if you can't avoid manufacturing at this time, then by all means still go for it, but just monitor your production very, very closely. Hey guys, before we move on to the next point, please do me a massive favor. If you're getting value from this video, please smash that like button for me real quick. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button down below and tap the bell to turn on post notifications so you can stay up to date when all the latest videos like this all become available. And I cannot wait to share more with you every single week. Now, tip number 3 for Chinese New Year is not only to do with the factories, but it's to do with your logistics, with your shipping. Now, bear in mind that it's the busiest time of the year for the factories, and it's also the busiest time of the year for shipping companies as well. So I would say just double check your freight costs before confirming any big orders going out before Chinese New Year. Because if you were used to paying a certain amount per container, and then that price goes up 15 or 20%, that could greatly affect your margins depending on what your margins were. So before confirming a very large order to go out, just double check that your freight costs are in line with the margins that you're comfortable with. Now, if that causes a problem and you don't want to ship as much as you would like to do before Chinese New Year, what you can do is utilize your factory's warehouse for storage. Now, Amazon services are becoming very, very expensive because we've got a lot of products coming in around this time of year. So they can be backed up, or they could set restrictions on how much you can actually supply into Amazon. 3PLs are also becoming very full and quite restricted, so this is the best time to utilize your supplier's warehouse as well. You know, if you've got 10,000 units worth of goods and a container can fill up 4,000 pieces, just say, hey look, I want to ship 4,000 pieces immediately and I want to keep 6,000 pieces in your factory. If you can store it for me, and I'll ship it after Chinese New Year. That way you can benefit from a lower shipping cost after Chinese New Year. Now, if you want to know more about shipping in general, let me know in the comments below. If you want to see me make a video on shipping, how to get your products from China to the US or to the UK or into Amazon, or the types of things we should be looking out for, or explaining the difference between the shipping terms, FOB, Xworks, DDP, all that sort of stuff, just let me know in the comments below if you want me to make a video on shipping, and I'll be happy to do that for you. Okay guys, so tip number 4, it's more of a question I get asked quite regularly around Chinese New Year, and it's, should I send my supplier a gift during Chinese New Year? And you know, it's reciprocal, so I would just check to see, do they send you a gift for your Christmas holidays, or do they just send you an email wishing you a happy holiday, or did they actually do they post you a card? And based on kind of what they do for you, you might want to return that to them. But if you feel like they're a fantastic supplier and you want to go over and beyond, then by all means you can send them a gift. Now, in terms of what gift to send them, personally for me, I always like to, I normally just take my gift with me in my luggage when I go to China and I hand them to them. But if you're not going to China, the gift that I always like to give is it's something from your hometown. So like if you are like your local sports team, if you're from Chicago, then you might want to get a t-shirt of the Chicago Bulls or the Chicago Bears, or you know, like a keyring or something like that of your favorite sports team. Or if your town is known for like hot sauce, then take that. Or if your town is known for a particular type of tea, then take them a box of tea. You know, they love tea in China. So it doesn't have to be anything expensive. I would just say something small and meaningful that resembles your hometown, and they will very much appreciate it because it resembles what part of the world that you're from. But one thing quite important, I would say, regardless if you send a gift or not, it is very important to create a nice little email footer. Just send a personalized card to your factory. So as we know, the 2021 will be the year of the ox, and even if you've got no graphic design experience, you can just jump into Google and type in 2021 year of the ox and just literally grab one of those images and then put your company name and your supplier's company name in there. Let's just say, for example, KG Enterprises, right? And then you're dealing with a company called, like, I don't know, Shanghai Global. You could say, everyone at KG Enterprises wishes the team at Shanghai Global a fantastic 2021 and year of the ox. And then you'll have that illustration below. And you can send that just in a personal email, just wishing them the Chinese New Year greeting. Or you can also just put that image in your email footer, and then every time you email a supplier, they get that message, and that's always just quite a nice thing to do. And finally, actually, just utilize WeChat as well, because if you've seen my previous content, I always like stress the importance of building relationships with your supplier. And this is a perfect time to message your suppliers on WeChat as well as by email, but on WeChat where they're a little bit more informal and casual. And you can say, hey, wishing you a fantastic year of the ox. What's your plans for Chinese New Year? Are you going to go to your hometown? Are you able to travel? Do you have a family? Did you receive any nice gifts? All that sort of stuff. Just build up, learn a little bit more about Chinese New Year through what they're going through, ask to see some photos and some videos, and that's just a fantastic way to build up the relationship so that when they get back to the office, you'll have a much better relationship going into 2021. Now, tip number 5 is forecast orders. At the start of the video, I kind of talked about the build up and the amount of like quality problems or increase in price that you can have if you're manufacturing during Chinese New Year. So a way to avoid that, especially if your items are seasonal, is at the start of the year at 2021, give your supplier a forecast order and say, hey, based on last year's data, we forecast that we will need to order 20,000 units over the course of the year. Now for the next PO, for the next purchase order, we only need to order like 3,000 units or 4,000 units, but over the course of the year, we anticipate that we're going to order 20,000 units. Now, depending on how good your relationship is with your supplier, then they can actually hold the raw materials of your order, depending on what it is. The less customized, the easier it will be. They can hold that in stock for you. So they can say, okay, we've received this forecast order for 20,000 units. Now let's prepare all the materials and we'll hold that in stock so that when we get their order in February, in April, in July, then like all we need to do is actually cut and sew and manufacture it rather than go ahead and prepare all the materials. That way it will keep your lead times down, it will keep your stock levels higher in China as well, so that when you need stock you can get it out faster and not get into that sticky situation around Chinese New Year of being desperate for stock, going to the back of the line and potentially facing any quality problems as well. Now, if you have any tips that you think I missed, feel free to write your tips in the comments below so other people can benefit. And if you've had any good stories or if you've had any horror stories around Chinese New Year, I know I definitely have, feel free to write them in the comments below, and I would love to hear about you guys and where you're at with your business. And if you do need any help with your business and you'd like to have one-on-one coaching with myself, you can book that at the below link, which will appear here on the screen and also in the comments below. And we can talk about your pricing, your sourcing, your products, your strategy, all that sort of fun stuff on how to get better results in China. And if you are a bit more social, make sure you connect with me on Instagram, where I'm Kian_JG. That'll pop up here. And if you're on Facebook, make sure you join the community, also called Sourcing with Kian, which will pop up here. We've got a large community. We all help each other out, and we just answer each other's questions. Now, guys, hope you have a fantastic year of the ox. Please apply these tips. Please communicate with your manufacturers, and let's all crush it in 2021, the year of the ox.